I've never really gave Call of Duty its proper due. What was once a World War II shooter made by the folks who worked on Steven Spielberg's Medal of Honor series transformed into something gaudy, a rip-roaring America-field romp into the Middle Eastern theater of armed conflict. Replacing the time-honored righteous fight against the Nazis were skirmishes that were morally ambiguous by design, that war was no longer a black and white affair. Putting the player in a front row seat to horrible terrorism several times over, and even killing them on 2 separate occasions, made these games into popcorn blockbusters. Superficial military thrillers where double and triple crosses were always expected. Call of Duty would go on to become a cultural phenomenon after the release of Modern Warfare in 2007. I viewed this franchise with a snobbish eye, expressing hipster-like lamentations that Call of Duty was cool before this modernization nonsense. A lot of this had to do with multiplayer. Famous for its quick, high-intensity action and quick death, playing online was so off-putting that I channeled my inability to get a handle on it into further feelings of contempt. And now, I stand before Call of Duty with hat in hand, ready to ask for forgiveness. It may have taken 13 years, but I dare say that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 is the most fun I've had playing online in ages. I've developed newfound feelings of respect for Call of Duty's style of brisk action and strong gunplay so much that I regret not doing sooner. Nothing will change the fact that the series campaigns are still silly, and Modern Warfare doesn't do anything new or groundbreaking in any way, but at the end of the day, what really matters most to people is the online experience, which has hooked its claws into me and has refused to let go. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about the campaign, which is a kinda sorta reimagined remake of the original Modern Warfare. That's because it's a classic military yarn about good guys needing to kill the bad guys in a morally gray theater of war. It follows the classic Call of Duty narrative formula that shifts perspectives to the story's main characters and pushes the envelope of good taste by depicting scenes of abject human misery through terrorism. Beyond killing the main bad guy, I never felt like I accomplished anything worthwhile at the end of the game, and really, how could you during a forever war? I did feel slightly disgusted with myself with some of the game's more intimate encounters, like the time I shot a kid's mother who drew a gun on me and watched the child sob uncontrollably over her dead body. More reprehensible than the shoehorned, morally ambiguous nature of the story was the campaign's uneven difficulty that often put me in situations where I'm easily killed by something I couldn't see nor predict. No, instead of talking about a fairly bland campaign, I'd rather go into more detail about the multiplayer, which became something I never thought I'd have so much fun with. If this is what multiplayer was like all along in Call of Duty, then I'll never stop kicking myself for missing out. I'm sure a lot of what will follow is going to be old news for seasoned Call of Duty players, but I'm literally coming into this with fresh eyes, and everything I've seen feels so new and incredibly exciting. The biggest hurdle I had to get over in the early game was the bitterness that always followed getting gunned down by the opposite team, especially when I couldn't tell where they had come from. Gameplay is quick and unforgiving, and sometimes the best defense is to run and hope for the best. Part of the problem for new players is that you're jumping into an environment where the majority of participants have already unlocked the best mods for their guns and can walk through maps with their eyes closed. New players will always be at a disadvantage, but perseverance is the key to success. In my early hours of Modern Warfare multiplayer, I'd consider myself lucky to stay alive for more than 10 seconds and maintain a death count in the low 20s. I took my lumps though. I paid attention to map layouts. I found guns I was really comfortable with and outfitted them with the best mods and perks I could unlock. I had loadouts I so greatly depended on that I went the extra step to rename them after particular maps. Over time, I really started to hold my own. I'd still get blown away with regularity, but I grew more comfortable in my digital skin and trusting in my abilities. I would eventually do well enough to boost my KD ratio and even earn quite a few play of the game clips. Best of all, certain game modes reward players for playing the objective, so while I would rarely find myself on the top spot for kills, scoring points for the team could put me up there. Multiplayer offers a wealth of modes that come with their own unique quirks and challenges. There's deathmatch and team deathmatch, because of course there is, and I've really grown fond of the back and forth tug of war of capture, hardpoint, and domination because they reward those that work as a team. Capture involves taking over 3 or more markers on a map and hold them as long as possible while they generate points for your team. Hardpoint is a variation of that where both teams fight over one control point that moves to a random spot. I'm also a huge fan of kill confirmed because the only way to score is to collect dog tags from fallen opponents, which adds an extra thrill to the chaos. There are a host of other modes as well, like the 2v2 gunfight, a Battlefield-esque ground war that drops all players inside a really huge map, infected, and more. The most fun I've had has been with 24/7, which cycles different modes using the same map. Specifically, 24/7 Shipment has been the joy of my life because competing against 11 other players in a map designed to fit 6 is an amazing, beautiful mess. Whether or not your team wins the round, everyone gets experience points, which can be manipulated by using timed score modifiers that can double and even triple the number of points earned. Ranking up offers a host of different unlocks such as cosmetics, like character skins and calling card accoutrements, and new weapon types. Weapons used during a match also level up and open up various attachments, perks, stickers, and paint schemes designed to make them look and feel unique. There are no loot boxes, thank goodness, but the game does have microtransactions in the form of specialized packs that offer weapons and cosmetics. There's also the Battle Pass, a multi-tiered reward system that unlocks goodies as you rank up, or spend money to work through it faster. You won't get any of these items unless you spend the $10, however, none of them dramatically shift the balance between players, given that the majority of items are cosmetics and XP boosts. After spending my formative years shunning the Call of Duty series, I now wholeheartedly regret missing out on it. I used to fear online multiplayer because I always felt like I could never be good enough to have fun. I realize now, especially when played together with friends, that I don't have to be as good as any pro esports player. I'm totally okay with being average because the fact of the matter is, I'm having way too much fun to really care.